Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most incredible breakthroughs in modern medicine, mRNA vaccines. We're going to unpack how they work by literally writing an instruction manual for our immune system, turning our own cells into training grounds.
So, let's start with the end game. What's the ultimate goal here? Well, more and more research is pointing to something called hybrid immunity as the absolute gold standard for protection. It's this powerful, layered defense, and it's pretty much the strongest our immune system can get.
Okay, so how do we actually get there? How does our body build that kind of powerful defense? To answer that, we need to zoom in and understand the basics of how a vaccine can train our body to fight an enemy it's never even seen before.
All right, first things first, let's talk about our body's defense system. Before we can get into the training manual, you have to meet the security team, our unbelievably sophisticated immune system. Now, this whole security force has two main branches. First, you've got your innate immunity. Think of these guys as the first responders. They rush to the scene of any problem and set up a very general defense. But then, you've got the adaptive immunity. These are the highly trained specialists, the SWAT team, called in to handle one specific threat. And, this is the crucial part, they remember that threat for good.
Let's get to know that specialist team a little better. You've got B cells, which are basically little antibody factories, just turning out proteins that tag invaders. Then there are the memory B cells. These are the librarians. They keep a super detailed file on every bad guy they've ever met. And finally, you have the T cells. They're the battlefield commanders and the elite soldiers all in one, coordinating the attack and taking out infected cells themselves.
And that brings us to this new vaccine playbook. For decades, traditional vaccines worked by showing our immune system a weakened or dead version of a virus. But mRNA technology, it came along and completely rewrote the playbook.
So the old school way was kind of like showing your security team a blurry mugshot of the bad guy. I mean, it worked, but the response wasn't always as sharp as it could be. The new school mRNA method is totally different. It doesn't show ourselves the bad guy at all. Instead, it just hands them a temporary blueprint, a recipe, so they can build just one tiny, harmless piece of the enemy, like its spike protein. And that really, really gets the immune system's attention.
And get this, even within this new playbook, there are two major strategies. You've got your conventional mRNA, which just gives our cells the direct recipe. But then there's self-amplifying mRNA, or SAM, which is even more clever. It gives our cells the recipe, but it also gives them instructions on how to build a molecular photocopier first.
So how does this actually play out inside our cells, right? How does a simple genetic recipe get turned into a full-blown training simulation for our entire immune system?
With conventional mRNA, it's pretty straightforward. A recipe for a harmless piece of the virus, the antigen, gets delivered. Our cell's machinery reads it, and it just starts building. It's like handing a chef a single recipe card to make one dish. Simple and effective.
But now, check out the power of this self-amplifying approach. The cell first gets instructions to build that photocopier, this special enzyme. Once the copier is built, it starts churning out thousands of copies of the antigen recipe. Then, and only then, does the cell start mass-producing the antigen. It's an incredibly smart way to get a much bigger immune response from a much smaller initial dose.
This diagram really shows you the difference beautifully. Path 5 there, that's the direct route of conventional mRNA, simple, clean, effective. But paths 1 through 4, that's the genius of the self-amplifying version. You see, it invests a little time up front to build the copy machine, and that leads to this massive payoff in antigen production. It's just a truly elegant piece of engineering. Okay, but this whole process has a really fascinating wrinkle. The mRNA itself doesn't just sneak in and deliver the message quietly. Nope. Its very presence sets off our body's alarm bells, which is both a very good thing and a potentially complicated one.
I mean, think about it. If you just slip a recipe into a kitchen, how does the head chef know it's an urgent 5-alarm order? The vaccine has to create a sense of danger to really get the immune system to sit up and pay attention.
And here's where we see that double-edged sword in action. On the one hand, our cells have sensors that recognize foreign RNA. This triggers a helpful danger signal, which recruits immune cells and basically acts as a built-in booster for the vaccine. That's the pro. But here's the con. That exact same signal can kick off a massive antiviral response. And if that response is too strong, the body can go into lockdown, basically shredding the vaccine's recipe before the cell even has a chance to read it.
So this balancing act is exactly where the next generation of vaccine science is heading. Scientists are now focused on fine-tuning every single part of the mRNA message to get that perfect response, a strong alert but not a total system shutdown.
And it's pretty incredible to see how many different knobs and dials they can turn. They can tweak the RNA code itself to make it more stable. They can alter its chemical letters to be a little less alarming to our cells. They can design better delivery vehicles to get it there safely. They can even change the injection site to target specific immune hubs in the body.
At the end of the day, it's not about just one single fix. It's a huge design challenge. The delivery system, the antigen, the RNA sequence, and how it's administered, all of these things have to work in perfect harmony to create the most effective and safe vaccine possible.
By learning to control this incredibly complex dance between the vaccine's message and our immune system's response, scientists are creating some seriously powerful new tools. And this brings us right back to where we started, that quest for robust, lasting hybrid immunity.
And that leaves us with a final, really thought-provoking question. We've seen this technology teach our bodies how to fight a global pandemic. What could it teach them to do next? Could we one day use this to teach our immune systems to hunt down and destroy cancer cells, or maybe even correct genetic diseases? The instruction manual has been written, and we are really only just beginning to turn the pages.